Hello everyone, welcome to day 10 of our AWS Masterclass. So in the previous couple of sessions we have actually started discussing about Lambda, which is a serverless function, and to just give a recap, in previous sessions we have discussed about Lambda basics and then how to install libraries if you want to do it with Python. So we have used EC2 to open a command line interface, and in that server we have particularly created some set of folders, and inside of that we have installed our application. Like the libraries, we have used pip to install it, and then we have zipped it, and we have exported it to S3, and at that part of time we may get that credential issue, so you have to go with AWS configure and then configure with the credentials secret key which you get from your IAM. And after that, once you export it, you can get it in the S3, right? You would have used it to attach it in the layers, and we have done that. After that, we have also seen how to create a trigger, for example with S3. So if I create a trigger, what happens? Okay, so when I go with S3 and create a trigger, and we in the event we can get the details of it, right? So in the event I'll be getting what that trigger is. For example, in this bucket, what happened, which file has been done, and other details from it. Because why I am telling you this, in this project which we are going to see here, we are going to see two projects. We'll also use the same like things which we used previous session. So with that we can know what it is, and with the help of Boto 3 we can actually call your some other service and use it, right? So in such places what we can do is we have done an image resizing project. So in the bucket, particularly if something gets added, that name will be stored, and that name is taken in the S3. From that, the file is downloaded in the local of your Lambda local storage, and that has been resized with the OpenCV code, which we added layers also to give it the power of OpenCV. And then after that it will export it to the S3 itself in the destination bucket. So this is what we have done in the previous session. Particularly in this session, we are going to discuss about three things. With the help of Lambda, we are going to connect first with SES, simple email service, and later on we are doing another project which will do it notification service to our mobile with SMS, which is Amazon SNS. It can send SMS messages, and it is simple notification service. Not only that, you have the option of sending emails through it or any different sources you can. So we'll be seeing that by integrating Lambda with these two, and see two good projects which will alert you in such situations. So starting with SES. So this is actually new for us. We need to learn this, and we'll also integrate it with Lambda. Okay. Starting with Amazon SES, it is used for a lot of promotional services. Like you can use it for marketing campaigns and all. So you have a customer data. What you can do is you can configure email sending at scale in minutes. At scale, it's like in a time you can send, like you can request. Initially, I think so. The as a base user, you have a limit of 2,000 emails at a send, and you can also request them to increase that limit. If you request it, you will be getting it around 50,000 emails, I think so. So marketing campaigns used to send like the bulk emails, right? So that can be done with the help of Amazon SES, which can be done in which scale you require. It can be do it in minutes, and they'll provide a lot of supports, and this is achieved via Amazon S3, Redshift, EC2, Lambda, and the Spark on Amazon EMR. These are all help us to analyze, process, and storage of your SES. So talking about Amazon SES is a cloud email service provider that can integrate into any application for bulk email sending. Not only this, if you the thing about bulk emailing in Amazon SES is it's very cheap comparatively with other resources which is available in the internet. What you can do is you can also even integrate. If you are a person who is want to market with SES or send bulk emails, you can create your SES and you can integrate it with some of the Google's mailing systems, and you can pay for Amazon and avail this, which is very cheap. So many prefer this. So whether you are using it for an email software to send transactional email or marketing email or newsletter email or whatever it is, you pay for what you use. How many emails you send, you will be paying for it. and you have to verify your email address before sending it. So you have a sender email ID, right? So you can't send without my knowledge with my mail ID, right? From my mail ID. So you have to verify your sender mail ID from which ID you are going to send. Receiver is, you can't verify that, right? So if you want to send for 50,000 people, you can have their list, you can integrate it here in SES. It can be used for that particular task only. But here what we are going to do is we are going to use this with Lambda. So what is the idea behind this project is, it's a mail alert project with Lambda and Amazon SES. So the main idea here is, what I'll be doing is, for example, if I want to secure my S3 bucket, okay, I have a bucket. If something happened in that particular bucket, I want to know that, okay, it has been happened. For example, if I added a file, I want to know that this has been added to my bucket. Okay, like for example, if I'm running a company, if I want to get alerts, then what I can do is I can integrate that bucket as a trigger, which will trigger this Amazon Lambda, where I can write, okay, I can write some context like how the mail should be. I can integrate it and I can call this SES there, right? With the help of Boto 3 we can integrate. And if you have some registered email IDs there, okay, if it's functional, then what you can do is with your domain name you can send a alert to your mail ID, like from one mail ID to other mail ID. For marketing and all it works different. For this task, whenever something happens in that bucket, for example, this has been added in your bucket, I want to receive a mail ID, it's like alert, I want to have it. Not only this, in AWS if you want to configure it any part, you can use these kind of things. Only the trigger changes. So the main idea here is to do this. We will be achieving this, and next we will be discussing about, after completing this, we will be discussing about simple notification service, where instead of this mail we will be getting messages, personalized messages in the mobile. So for example, if you want to know it, you can add your mobile number there, so you will be getting mail SMS when something happens in that particular bucket. So you can use it for that security configurations and all, just to change the, like, note down the track of what happens, you can do it. So yeah, so let us kickstart with this, and once again I'll tell you what we'll be doing. We need to create a Lambda function, we need to create a trigger which should be a bucket in S3, and we also need to integrate Amazon SES so that we can get a domain and then we can use it for mailing. Okay, so yeah, we can start first with Lambda and then we'll go into SES. Let me just shift into the console and let me search for, okay, we'll start with Lambda. And let me create a function, and please note down which region you are. For example, Lambda, if it's from one region, do the SES also from the same region. If they are in different regions, then you can't get proper results. So just note down that. We'll author from scratch and give a name. For example, let me give it as mail alert. Okay, and the runtime, I prefer Python, so we'll go 3.9. Mostly we don't require any additional options here. Let me create this function. And once again, when you are using like this requires to use SES, right? In such situations, what you have to do is you have to allow it property or make it accessible. Okay, we need to give a policy that it can be accessed. So we will be doing a lot of changes here. So for now, I'll just leave it as such. And we need to add a trigger to a S3 bucket. For example, let me add a trigger, select a source which is S3, and let me search a bucket name. I have created something like October Lambda, I'll use that. So this is a trigger. Anything happens in this bucket, we will be receiving notifications in the event. Okay, so yeah, I think I am using it. Okay, it seems like I already used this bucket for some other trigger, so that's why I'm getting this issue. So to configure that in S3, if you don't want this mix up to happen, it can be recursive. It can call one by one, like individually they can call each other, and it can create a lot of things. To solve this, you can create a new bucket in that particular region. Okay, I'll create in this name, and yeah, for now we'll just create this bucket and use it. So if you have already integrated it, you can't access it. That's what it is telling. So if I search for this, now it should be available. Yeah, it is here. So I have selected that particular bucket and you can add it. So now there won't be any issue. Yeah, as you can see, fine. So I just want to show you guys another thing. The previous session we have discussed about that image resizing code and all. In that I have used this event and shown you guys about what will be there in the event, right? If you remember, we have used Google Colab. This is that. And for example, this is the event which I'll get if I go with S3 as a trigger. And here we can take the name of it inside the object in the key. Okay. And not only that, if you just see this, you will be getting some other details, like you can get the IP address from here. Okay, so you can get what is the action done, okay, whether it has been added or removed. So in the event name you can get the action which has been happened, whether it has been putted or deleted or what happened, which IP address it has been done. Okay, and not only that, what has been added, what is the object. So you can get these details from this particular thing. So this is important. If you don't have it, just run a simple event and then from the S3 trigger and then just receive this. So with the help of this, we can write our code, and we need to write it in some certain format. So I'll just remove all these things. So we need to freshly write a code which takes from the event and does some task. So first we need to use our SES. So for that I need to import Photo3. Okay, so we need Photo3, fine. And for example, I'll create a variable client will be equal to Photo3 dot client, and my client is nothing but SES, so it will be taken. So for how many events in record, okay, if you know if multiple event happened, that will be stored in this record. So I just want to show you guys parallelly. So inside of event only I am having this. Okay, so inside of record, okay, if I have another record, another detail will be that. This is one record, inside I am having this. So I am going to use a for loop here and take certain information from it. So I'll go with records, and then in the next line, if I want to take some information, for example, if I need IP, then I should, here from the for loop, I can see that I am receiving it in the variable x every time it runs. So with the help of x, I need to use some indexes, which is like, if I need this IP address, I should go into request parameters, okay, and then inside of that source IP address. So I should write something like this. IP will be inside of this particular request parameters, and inside of that I need to go inside of our source IP address. So that should be go inside, and we need to take that, fine. So if you run this, you will be getting the IP address value. So I am just storing that values, taking it and storing it. So when you talk about the action, whether what has been happened, it is available inside of this event name, which is object created as what. Okay, so I will take this event name alone. So that will be pasted here. Okay, and finally, for example, bucket name and all, I hope we know about it. Anyway, we will take it from there itself, because we are having one bucket for trigger, that will be the value. Anyway, the bucket name will be taken inside of bucket, inside of name. Before that, you need to go into S3, it's here, comma. So inside S3, inside bucket, inside the name of it. So for example, let me just go with inside X, we need to go into S3. Inside of that, we need to go into object, and inside of that, we need to go into key. So this will give me the bucket name, and finally what happened, okay, I think this is not object, I think this is bucket. Yeah, it's bucket. This is for the file name, so I should go with S3. Inside of that I need to go into the bucket, and the name of it, sorry, name. So talking about the object, so which is a file name, I can get it from X. Inside of that S3, inside of that I need to go into, now it is object, and I need to get the key name, which is key. So this will give me all the details which I require. So why am I getting this is in my alert mail, okay, I need to receive who done it with the IP, what's the action they have done, what's the bucket name, and what is the object has been added. So I need to store all these things, and I can And if you guys know, SES is a mail service, so I'll be sending a mail with a subject with a body. Okay, and you need to create a response with that. To do that, I need to create a variable in the name. What is the subject? How it should look? Okay, so I'll use a formatted statement. Okay, and a placeholder. I'll convert it into a string just for safety purpose. I read in documentation we can do this. So the action, what object has been put in. Okay, event from bucket. So I'll just pass the bucket name here, which is my bucket name variable. Okay, so this will be the subject in the start, and then I can also create my body of my mail. Okay, so I'll create a formatted multi-line statement. Okay, so this will contain details like, for example, it should be you need to also integrate your, it's a body which is HTML content. I can add a line break and then tell that this mail, you can tailor it in your way. Okay, is from AWS Lambda Alerts to notify you regarding, you can pass anything. For example, I need to notify regarding the action. Okay, and I can add a line break and then type the file name, which is going to be my object, right? And I also need to have a line break here also, and then type event from which. Okay, so I can pass the IP event IP. I can have it in that way. Event IP, I'll be having the IP address here. Finally, I can go with line break and then go with thanks and regards. Okay, so yeah, that's it. We can wind up Lambda Alerts. Okay, so these things will be there. I'll have a break. Yeah, that will be good. So when you configure this in your own way, you can have it, what all details you require, you can do it like this. And once you've done that, now you have the subject and body. So you need to configure it in a way so that you can send it to your SES. For that, I'll create a variable message, and that message will be equal to a dictionary. It should be like a key value pass like JSON format with subject capital S. And what's the subject? You need to pass it inside the value data. So the data of the subject is going to be your subject variable. Okay, outside of it, the body content is going to be once again. So in the body, I can send details like HTML, and the value for it will be data, and the data of it is going to be my body variable. So that is having the multi-line string. So this is going to be my message which I am going to send. So if you have all these information, then what you can do is you have to integrate with SES. We haven't done that. We have done this, right? So what I can do is, let me open SES and configure a mail ID because we require it now. You can search for SES, which is Amazon Simple Email Service. Okay, so this is what the SES is. So you can check the home page. So you can send SES mails. You can do it campaign. So what you use, you will be paying for it. And you can also search the free tier, AWS free tier, and get SES is free or not. You have to check manually before doing anything. We will come across a lot of paid services also. So it's like 3000 messages per month is free for the first 12 months. So you can use it for your practice. You can send 1 or 2 mails as an alert, that's no issue. So in the SES, let me go into here, and we have to verify our identities in this verified identities. If you click that, I don't have anything, you can create the identity. For example, it could be a domain name or it could be an email address. Let me go with the email address and add my mail address from where I will be sending the details. Okay, .com, and yeah, so you can create this identity, but you could see that the identity status verification is actually pending. So I will just open this mail and show you guys. I'll be receiving a confirmation mail that it is required. I'll just show you guys, please wait. So I could see that this mail has been received, so I have to verify by clicking this particular link. So if I click that, it's congratulations, it's successful, which means that I should be getting confirmation here so that I can use it for my bulk mail sendings. It's just for a verification purpose. You can come back and check. Now it's verified, which means from this mail ID you can send mails now using SES. So now here what I can do is, along with this message, I'll create a variable which is response, and that response will be equal to that client variable where I had that SES previously, right? So now it's SES. In that I need to go with send underscore email. So using this you can send mails from it. You need to pass your source, which is that your source mail ID, which is going to be my support at pantechelearning.com, and what is the destination. Okay, this is important. To which mail ID you need to receive your alerts. For me it's going to be same, so I'll just pass a list. It should be a list. If you want multiple mails to be sent, okay, if you want to send it for 4 persons, you can add their IDs like this here. So I'll add that ID here itself. Okay, it's just the same mail ID I want to send and receive. So in my case I'll go with that. Along with that, not only that, I need to pass a message, and that message is now this message variable which we have configured right now. So if you have all these things, then you are safe, which means you can go and kickstart your by deploying this. Okay, and not only that, before setting anything in the configuration, you need to add your permissions. So you can go and get that role name, and you have to add a permission which is SES full access. I'll just give full access, and most probably in a real-time scenario they won't be giving entire access. Based on the requirement they will be giving. Since we are practicing from the start, we can give it and use it for now. Okay, so we have done it and it's ready now, configured with the trigger and all. So let us try to create a trigger, and you can test it in the monitor. You can view the CloudWatch logs. Right now we haven't kickstarted anything, so it will be empty. Okay, let's check that. Right now we don't have, so it should be kickstarted in this bucket, which is to our Pantech. Let me add or upload a file which is something like a data set, which is diabetes data set. I'll upload this. This should kickstart a trigger and we should get a mail. I'll get that mail and come back to you guys. And let me check this in the monitor, view CloudWatch logs. So we should get either mail or some error, and I could check that we have received an invalid parameter in the value, particularly in this line we have received any issue. So let me just check it in the code, and what I could see is a little mistake in this destination. We actually need to add some more details, like you need to pass it as a dictionary, and not only that, you need to also have, this is a value and you need to have a key for it. It's from the documentation, I missed it, and the destination key is just 2 addresses. Okay, so this will tell that who are all the 2 addresses, and its value is going to be this list. And once you have this integrated, it is clear till now, so now it should be working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload another object. Let me upload another file. This time I'll add a hot data set. I'll open it and upload it. This should kickstart another trigger. We can watch it, and we could see another one happened, and we could see that there is no issue. So let me get the mail and come back. And what I could see is in the mail, actually I have received that mail, and since it's successful, I have received this. And you could check that this is what's the subject which we have given in that manner. So this mail is from AWS Lambda Alerts to notify you regarding the object which has been putted. File name is hot.csv. This is the IP, and thanks and regards from Lambda Alerts. So you'll be receiving personalized mail alerts like this, and you could also try this. And don't worry, if you didn't receive any mail, you should check in the spam. So it requires a lot of process actually. Initially it will end up in spam, but you need to configure it in a way. There are some rules and regulations for SES. If you do done that, then your marketing mails will go into the inbox directly. So you need to allow it so it will be running. You could see it as done 0 minutes ago. Right now, just now we have received it. So now whenever I do anything, I'll be receiving that alert. I can upload another object also. For example, let me upload the last file, which is this IMDb dataset. Let me upload it. It's actually a quite big one, so let it upload. Once it is done, I'll be receiving another mail. I'll show you guys. With that, we can shift into the next project. I hope it's clear. If you've done a small mistake also, it won't be like what I have done. I missed that 2 addresses in that format, so I didn't receive that mail. So you need to check the logs and find whether what happened. You could also go into the logs. In that particular log, you will be receiving what's the date, time and all. You could check that, and whether it's successful or not, you will be receiving that. So you could also now check your mail. In that particular mail, once you verify it, you will be receiving alerts like this. So I'll just show you. Yeah, I have received 0 minutes ago. Right now we have just received that IMDb data set has been added. So you could also receive some personalized mail alerts like this. So I'll also tell you guys how to wind up this once you are done, if you don't want it to keep on running. Like every time it goes 3000 is the limit. After that you have to pay for it, right? In such cases you can, if you don't want it, you can delete this entirely. Not only that, we can also delete our groups and all, no issue. Okay, yeah, I think yeah, before deleting it's better to just remove that trigger and then delete it. Otherwise sometimes it will get locked and give you recursive alerts like I missed it anyway. So yeah, that's it. And this can be available if you don't want this guy to be existing. You can send a test mail if you require when you want to test it, or if you don't want it to exist, you can delete it. So you won't be once again sending with that mail ID. You need to confirm it again and then send it later. So that's it about our mail alert project with Lambda and SES. Now it's time for us to shift our focus towards the last one, which is Amazon SNS. Okay, here we are going to perform the same task, but not only that, we are going to perform something like a notification service. We will be receiving it on our mail ID. Sorry, in our mobile phone, we need to receive notification that this has happened, something like that. Okay, yeah, alert. I'll be doing it anyway. I can't show my mobile or integrate it here. So what I'll be doing is I'll do the entire part, and after that, finally, okay, I'll also show you guys about how the output will look like. You can also test it, and you will be receiving your messages in your mobile phones. So the task of this, we'll just see an introduction about SNS. AWS SNS is a notification service that enables sending messages to multiple subscribers simultaneously. It supports various delivery protocols including email, SMS and mobile push notifications. And the SNS has something known as topics. That's where we'll be creating it. And it can organize messages and can be filtered for targeted message delivery. And SNS offers high reliability, and it is a key component in building scalable and event-driven applications in AWS. So we'll be creating once again a trigger with S3, which triggers Lambda. You can send push notification or mail even through SNS, or you can also send the SMS through our SNS. So we'll be integrating it, and to do this I need once again a Lambda function. I think I shouldn't have deleted the previous function. I could have just altered it and used it. Anyway, we'll start freshly with creating a function. We'll add SMS alert. Okay. And let me choose the version of Python. Yeah, create function. Yeah, we have successfully created SMS alert, and we need to once again do a lot of configurations here. So let us start with the for format which we will be doing, we also once again require Boto3. Before that, we'll add a trigger. Let me search for S3. And the bucket name, let us try to use it. I am sure we will be getting issues with that. We need to either remove it or we need to create a new bucket. So it's like already have that configuration. Anyway, first I'll just I don't want these samples to be present, so I'll just empty this bucket, permanently delete. Let me just copy and paste this, delete objects, and once it's done you can go and delete it in the buckets. If we delete it, everything will be gone, no issues. I just want it to be gone. Fine. So now I can even create a bucket. So I'll create it in the name October Pantech 2, something like that. Once again, verify both are in the same region that is required, and we can create a bucket. And yeah, we can integrate it in this. Okay, so we can refresh and search for 2 that is available, and let us add it. Fine, so it's added now. So we have a trigger now, and in the code, let us add a lot of codes which we require, and we need to also add import Boto3. That is the important thing. I'll just remove all these stuffs. And before that, yeah, here we will be doing another task. I'll be integrating with a different code. So before that, I need that topic ARN which we will be taking later on. I'll leave it for empty for now. I'll tell you where we'll use it. Anyway, I'll create a function in the name send_SNS. Okay, and we'll be receiving a message for this. This is a function which I will be using later on. Okay, so I'll just do it separately. Okay, subject, we'll be receiving the message and subject. And I'll just use a try except statement in the try. Let me go and get the client with the help of s3.client, which is my simple notification service, and the result will be equal to client. I can call, so this is from the documentation, you can call publish, and you have to pass your topic topic ARN, which should be like this, and it is equal to my topic_ARN, and the message will be equal to the message which we receive in this as a parameter we will be receiving, right? So we'll pass that message, and then finally the subject will be equal to the subject which we will be receiving. Okay, this will be tried, and if you have to check if the result, if it's successful, you will be receiving something known as response metadata. It's from the documentation, response metadata. Okay, so it should be like small d, everything should be proper, otherwise you will be getting error. Response metadata, and I'll go with HTTP status code. So I need to get that code. If it's 200, it's successful in that sense. So I'll be verifying whether it's 200. So if it's 200, we can give it a result that print that particular result, whether it's success or not, and print a notification for us just to understand in the logs, notification sended successfully. Okay, so after that I'll just return a boolean which is true, or else, okay, in the except, if something error happens, I'll just go with print error occurred. Okay, while we can also add like except exception as E. So I'll be getting it in the E, so I can know that what exactly happened. Okay, error occurred, and I'll just pass E here. Okay, so let me just receive this. Fine, so this will be in the except, and we'll just return true here also. So this is just a function which I'll be using later on here. So what we need to do is in the lambda handler, we need to just first let us print event collected is, okay, and we can add this particular event which we get. Let us pass a formatted statement. The event which we receive will be passed here, and not only that, for record in event. If you remember, in the event we have received that record in the name X. Right here we will go with record. The records, I need to get the bucket name once again. So the S3 underscore bucket will be equal to, in the record I need to go inside of, what's the bucket name? We went into S3 and then inside of that bucket, inside of that name, right? So we need to do the same thing. So I need to go into S3 inside of that bucket and inside of that name. I think this is small b, otherwise we won't be receiving results. And yeah, we can print the bucket name comma S3 underscore bucket. This is just for our information. You can do it, you can get it in the logs. Okay, so the S3 underscore key, which is going to be the object, so I can get it inside of record, inside of that S3, and inside of that I need to go inside of object. We have done it previously, and we need to go inside key to get what's the name of the file which has been added. You can print the file is comma, we can pass S3 underscore key. Okay, so you can add a message. For example, the message I should receive in my mobile is the file is uploaded at S3 bucket. Okay, so I'll pass our formatted statement. The message should be received like this. The bucket name I should get. Okay, so I think also we can do something like this. Please wait. Which is S3 underscore bucket. The file here I can add something like S3 underscore key is uploaded in this particular bucket. Let us pass that information here. That will be good. In my mobile I can receive something like this, and in the subject I can add something like processes completion notification, just a representation. And what you can do is, if you want to send that, you can call SNS result and just go with send underscore SMS. If you remember that send SMS we have created here, right, which will pass this. Okay, publish that particular message. I need to pass a message and subject, and we have a message and subject. That's why we have created it. Message comma subject. Let me pass it. Okay, so if SNS result, if you remember that send SMS will return boolean, right? So if it's true, then particularly I just want to have a personalized log which is notification sent. Okay, and you can return SNS result. Else which will return true, right? Else return false. So that's it. That's the lengthy part of the code is done. We require this topic ARN anyway. I'll deploy this, and we know that in the configuration, in the general configuration, if you go inside, we need to add or edit this. I'll tell you guys, this memory allocation is very low for this. For it to exist, you need to go with 1024 is good. You can add these two. Okay, you have a lot of things, and timeout is important. I'll go with 15 minutes is max. I'll go and use this. Okay, and yeah, this is good. You need to do these things for it to run. Also, along with that, I need to add permissions. If you remember, in this alert role, I need to add a policy which is going to be SNS to use it, right? Attach policies, go with SNS full access. Okay, add permissions. Fine. Not only this, we need that ARN. So to do that, I'll go with SNS, which is simple notification service. I can create a topic. So if you search the topics, there is nothing. You can create a topic which is like whether it's standard. You can go with the first in first out method or standard method which uses these. So I'll go with the sample one. Okay. And talking about encryption, no issue. Policies, in the publishers you can choose everyone, and in the subscribers you can choose everyone. Yeah, so these and all no issues. You can go with that. We'll go with the basic versions, and Yeah, we can go with that and create a topic. Okay, so not only that, if you want to send, you need to create subscriptions. So in which way you are going to send it? If I click subscriptions, it will ask me this is the ARN which I have. Okay, make sure you are in the same region. Just copy this and have it in your code here in the ARN. This should be passed, which is required in this to send message. You can deploy this, but not only that, you need to send from which, okay, or to whom you need to select that, right? So you can select either any of these. It's a mail you can send through HTTP or HTTPS, or SMS is also available. I'll select SMS and I need to search a endpoint. So you need to add a phone number. Okay, so just click add phone number. So it will take you to this page where you have to select, for example, India, and I already have a number which I'll be adding, and then you can also add a language here. So once I added the number, I can click add phone number. So it will send me a verification code which I should match. If they are same, you can verify it so you can receive alerts to it. And once you added that OTP, you will be receiving this. So you could select it, and now you have that endpoint which is available, and you can create that subscription now, and you could see it is confirmed. So now when I just go and create a trigger, for example, we don't know whether it's working or not, right? So I can't show the message right now. You will be receiving that. I'll show a sample. Anyway, I'll make it, if it's successful, I can show you the logs, right? So here, if I add any file, for example, let us add this. Okay, it's actually very lengthy. We'll add some simple files for now. This data set, which is just 5 KB. I'll upload this and close it. Here in the log monitor, view CloudWatch logs. If it's successful, we would receive that notification sent successfully. So we have one here. Okay, we have received an error. We'll sort it down. SS3 is not defined. Good. So in the code, let us explore where we have got it. Okay, it's not S3 here, it's Boto3. Like simple mistakes which I have done, and I hope everything will be fine now. We'll check for it by adding another file to it. Once again, we'll go with this image, IMDb dataset, and upload it. Yeah, it's done. So it would have created a trigger, and now we'll check once again whether it's okay or not. And actually I have received a SMS, and now that IMDb dataset.csv is uploaded at S3 bucket. I have to have a Pantech 2 right now, so which means it's successful. So I can show you the logs once again. So if you go into the monitor and view the CloudWatch logs, you should get something like this, where it should be sent successful in this, because I received alert, which you can see that notification sent successfully, and I have received SMS, and we have received this successful and all, since we are printing this, which is mandatory to get the notification. And also you could see that this will be the format, okay, like this, something like this will be your output. It will look like this in your SMS. So you could check that. You can configure in what format you write that message, you will be receiving that notification. So these are all some of the good projects which you can use for alerts and all. You could use it personalized. And also I'll show you guys how to remove this. Anyway, before terminating this, if you want this bucket to be used again, just delete this trigger. Okay, after that, delete that function so that it can be, don't cause any recursions. So right now I don't need this, so I'll delete this function. Also about our SNS subscriptions, I can delete this subscription. Also, if you don't want the number to, like, you can send push notifications and all, you can use this. Anyway, in the subscriptions we have removed. In the topic, I'll remove this also, so that we have started everything and winded up everything. So that's it about this session and this project. It was good. And in day 11 we are going to see some introduction about microservices, and we are going to use container services to integrate it and run it. And not only that, we will be discussing like we'll be running a project with the help of a container. If you know, in Lambda also we had option of deploy with container, right? That we'll be doing with in microservices with AWS services. And not only that, with next session we'll be winding up our Lambdas. And in Lambda, I also want to discuss another topic, which is event bridge, which we'll also discuss there. So we'll see you in next session. Thank you.